What's up guys, it's CG. So this is going to be a thorough review of Original Vetiver by the House of Creed. First I'm going to give you guys a rundown so you have a general idea what the fragrance is about. Then I'm going to share how users rated the performance and the scent profile. My wife and I are going to share our impressions of it. And finally I'm going to share my overall opinion after wearing it. Without further ado, let's get this started. So a quick disclaimer, there's not really a hype train on this fragrance, but I am the hype train. I think this is one of the greatest fragrances of all time as far as just how good it smells, and the classification is a soapy green fragrance. Imagine Irish spring soap done in 4D with vetiver leaves and a bit of Fruit Loop attached to it. Very office friendly, very masculine, and extremely versatile. So in the top we have bergamot, bitter orange, and mandarin. In the hearts we have white pepper, coriander, and pink berries. And in the base we have sandalwood, vetiver, ambergris, and tonkin musk. For scent, users gave it an overall rating of an 8.0. You could see that a lot of people gave it an 8 or above, about 64%. And only about 1 out of 10 people dislike the fragrance. I'm in disagreement with what I'm seeing here. I would give this a solid 10 just in how great it smells. I believe fragrance is like music that we wear, and this is like that perfect moment of the song that turns you into a trans-dimensional goat. I would imagine that the people that give it a lower rating may be doing so because it's basic, but I find it hard to believe that anybody just truly dislikes the smell of soap. For longevity, it got an average rating of a 6.9, which is okay, especially for a fresher fragrance. 43% of users gave it a 7. That's also what I'm gonna give it. I feel unsure about it. I don't know if it has really good longevity or poor longevity, and usually if I'm unsure, that just means it's a 7. And I feel the same about projection. I don't really know how I feel about it, so I would probably give it a 7. I have received compliments on it even 4 hours after application. And I will say that Original Vetiver has its moment. A lot of fragrances just start off soft, like Millesime, Imperial, and Arolfa. They never really have their moment of being loud, but in the first 30 minutes of projection, Original Vetiver is extremely room-filling and extremely loud, but it calms down and becomes pretty subtle. And you could see that the votes on this are pretty together. 83% of users gave it between a 5 and a 7, and you know, so nobody really thinks that this is a beast, and nobody thinks that it's like completely not there at all either. I have quite a bit to say about Original Vetiver, but I'm going to keep it down to the basics. This is an amazing smelling fragrance. It's very soapy, it's very green. When you first spray it, you're hit with the blast of vetiver, and I don't mean like earthy Encre Noir vetiver or vetiver from the root. It's really like the leaves, and I actually have never smelt this style of vetiver in any other fragrance 100%. I get whiffs of it here and there, but it's really a fresh, sharp, green vetiver. And the opening is just very powerful. Like, regardless of how it performs later on, the opening is just room filling and it's a blast of green freshness. And I even remember like decanting 10 mils of it, and the smell of it almost is 4D. Like, you get hit with a kind of a weird, this is deep and immersive freshness. As it starts to calm down, what comes out is Irish spring soap and oddly a Fruit Loop smell. And it's not like, oh, you're getting hit in the face of Fruit Loops. It's not like if you go and open up a box of Fruit Loops and smell it, it smells just like this. No, but if you really think about Fruit Loops while you smell it, you'll come back to this channel and subscribe to it, because you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. In our house, we actually refer to this fragrance as the Fruit Loop one. And anybody that I've told that smelled this gets what I'm saying. It has a Fruit Loop vibe going, mixed with Irish spring soap and that sharp vetiver. So what you're left with is just an incredible green soapy fragrance. I mean, it smells absolutely, in my opinion, stunning. It's perfect for what it does. Like, the type of person who wears this is gonna be a working professional, classy person that doesn't care to really smell unique or stand out, but just smell unique enough and stand out enough because it smells so great. Now, my wife's cousin, she smelled a lot of fragrances in my collection, including almost all of the Creeds. Her favorite fragrance of all time, Original Vetiver. There was a guy I worked with, I showed him practically every niche fragrance known to man, and for a long time, his number one was Original Vetiver. I've been to the Creed boutique and I've asked the person behind the counter, what's your favorite Creed fragrance? Guess what his answer was? Original Vetiver. I can objectively, it's not my favorite Creed, but I can objectively look at the Creeds and say the best one for how it smells and being mass appealing, I would say it's Original Vetiver. You don't have to like acquire a taste for this. Just off the bat, people are gonna like this one. People say it smells like Mugler cologne, which is its biggest criticism, and it really doesn't, to me at least. Like, people say Mont Blanc Individuel smells like Original Santal, so I bought a bottle just to compare it. It's so much more synthetic and so much more fleeting. That doesn't have that immersive quality. Like, one thing you get with the Original Vetiver is those three pieces of it, the soap and the vetiver and the Fruit Loop, you kind of get different waves of each one. So the scent is almost like immersive and dynamic. And Mugler cologne, yeah, it smells kind of like it, but it's not immersive. It's not 4D like that. Like, the quality is clearly lacking. And also the performance is not nearly as good.
Creed Original Vetiver. Really excellent scent. So I have two correlations in my memory, and they're both from my childhood. So to me, if you think about it while you're smelling it, it could smell like a really well done alcoholado. And if you're Hispanic, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, that's like it's like a tea type of thing that our grandmothers used to make with a bunch of different greens from the garden and alcohol, and it would be like something you would put on your chest when you're sick or something like that, but in a good way. Or especially towards the dry down, it turns into Fruit Loops. Really weird, but really good. In terms of who comes to my mind when I smell this, mid-20s to probably early 40s is a good range where I would put this. It smells really clean. You could wear it anywhere. It doesn't feel like, oh, for the day, for the night, for this weather, for that weather. To me, this would work on any weather. 9.
So yeah, my overall opinion is pretty obvious by now. I rate this a 10 on scent. I think it performs reasonably well for a fresh fragrance. It will always be a part of my collection. I only keep 15 bottles or so at a time, and this will always be one of those. I think it's great for a day where I don't really want to stand out, where I just really want to smell clean. Maybe the first day at a new job, or if I'm going into a stressful situation and I don't want to like choke out the room with a bunch of Middle Eastern raspberry rose, you know, I would reach for this. This is great. So yeah, feel free to comment with y'all's opinions and subscribe for future content. Peace out.